Hey guys, I just want to show you how I make my pot roast. So far what I did was I put about 3/4 of a cup of flour in this pan, and I added kosher salt and pepper to the flour, and I took a fork and mixed it around with the fork, and then I got a 3.5 pound roast here, chuck roast, and I put that in the flour and the salt and pepper, and just coated every side of this, every inch of it, every little piece of it. And now I have like 2 tablespoons of olive oil in this Dutch oven, and I'm browning all sides of the meat. So there's where I'm at right now, and I'll show you what I do next. Okay, I just flipped this roast over, and this is what it's looking like right now. And I'm going to do all of the edges as well. This process takes about 4 minutes aside. Okay, so I'll be back when this is done. Okay, I brought you back because I just wanted to show you how I do the edges. I actually rock it around on all sides of the edges to get all of this browned. Okay, I'm almost done browning it, so I'll be back. Okay, so like I said, I've got my roast over here resting, and now I'm going to add in 1 whole diced onion and celery. And I did about the same amount of celery as what that whole onion was. So I'm going to let this saute just until it starts to sweat a little bit. So I'm going to let this go for probably about 5 minutes. I'm going to put 2 cloves of garlic in. I'm going to put 3 cloves of garlic in with it. So I'll be back. Okay, so I'm putting some garlic in. So I'm just going to do this with a couple cloves of garlic, and I'll be back. Okay, so I just put 3 cloves of garlic in. I grated them into the pot, and now I'm going to deglaze the bottom of the pan with 2 cups of beef broth. You hear that? And deglazing, if you don't know what that means, it means pulling up all the bits of the bits that stuck to the bottom of the pan when I was browning the meat. So you want to pull all of those up, and that's really good flavor. So I'm just going to stir this around a little bit. And I'm going to put the meat back in on top of this. Oh, and I'm going to put in about 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce as well. Okay, so 1/4 cup of Worcestershire, and I'm going to put the meat back in, and I'll be back. Okay, I put 1/2 cup of Worcestershire in, and now I'm going to put in, what is that? About 2/3 cup of white wine. A lot of recipes call for red wine. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of dry red wines, so I use what I like. And that's why I always encourage all of you to use what you like. Doesn't have to always be exactly what you're told. Do whatever you want. Okay, so again, just going to stir this around, and now I'm going to get the meat in, and I'm going to peel a couple carrots and put those in as well. Be right back. Okay, so I cut up 3 carrots. I'm just going to stick these all around the roast. And I have my oven preheating at 350 degrees. And I'm going to put this in with the cover for 3 hours. Okay, so I'm going to need both hands to lift that up. So I'm going to put it in the oven for 3 hours, and I'll see you back when it's done. Okay, so something I forgot to tell you is I'm also going to add mushrooms. I'm going to slice all these mushrooms up, and these are frozen pearl onions, baby onions. I'm going to have the roast in for 2 hours. I've got that set for 2 hours, and then I'm going to put in the mushrooms and the onions. Okay, so I'll bring it back in 2 hours, and after I put the stuff in, I'm going to put it back in the oven for another hour after that. Okay. Okay, hi. I brought you back way early. It's been in for, 42 minutes, 48 minutes. I forgot to put in, I have dried thyme leaves I just put in. I usually have fresh thyme to put in, but I haven't had any. So here's what I just threw on top of that. I don't know where my head is today, but that's what I just put on here. If you have any herb gardens at your house, or you have any certain herb that you prefer, put it in. Put it in at the beginning. I just forgot. So, okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so I just thought I'd have a little fun for a second, see if I can still do this. Hopefully I won't knock anything over. I'm getting my potatoes ready to make mashed potatoes. Oop, how about that? Okay, here we are. It's been almost 2 hours. Oh, look at that. Looks really good. So I'm going to actually flip this meat over. Oh, looks like it's going to go in 2 pieces. Yep. Okay, so I'm also going to put a little bit more thyme leaves on top of this. I told you I'm crazy for thyme. I love it. Okay, so there's the thyme. Now I cut up all these mushrooms. If I put the mushrooms and those baby onions in at the beginning, they'd be gone. They just would disintegrate because it's in here for so long. Okay. So there. Empty. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's see if I can kind of get it down into the gravy. Okay, that's it. I'm going to put it back in for another hour. Well, there's 13 minutes left on the timer. So another hour and 13 minutes. And I'm going to start preparing potatoes. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, guys, I just took this out of the oven. And this is what it looks like. I'm going to pull the meat out, and then I'm going to thicken up the gravy that's left behind. So let me get that meat out, and I'll be back. Oh, and a visitor just came in. Hello, Morgan. Hey, I'm back. So listen, I took the meat out. There's the meat. And there's not as much gravy in here as I thought there was going to be. So I'm going to turn this stove on underneath this. And I'm going to put some beef broth in to make a little bit more gravy. And then I'm going to thicken that. I'm just surprised that I thought there'd be a lot more gravy left behind when I pulled the meat out. All right, so I'm going to put, with that, okay, you just saw, I don't know, I've added like a half a cup more of beef broth. And now I've got, like, it was like 1/8 of a cup of flour and a half a cup of water right here. And I'm going to add that to thicken it up some. Okay. And this, you know, I've got to adjust. This is how you learn how to do these things. So the heat's on. And I'm just going to stir this and let this get thicker. It looks really good. It smells amazing. Okay, so I'm going to let this get warm, and I got to start mashing my potatoes. I've got potatoes boiling over here. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay, guys, this is the end result here. Look at, I showed you what I put in this. Look, it's beautifully thickened now. And I've spooned out some pot roast over here. Okay, so look at that. There's the end result right there. Isn't that beautiful? It smells so good. Okay, well, thanks for watching.